this is Jo from Cranberry. I'm back this week to show you a bit more information about your beaded spiral rope. So check out the last video to tell you how to do the basics, and we also looked at some variations in design for your spiral rope. But I wanted to go through a little bit more information about finishing your spiral rope today. So two things we are going to cover is adding a clasp, and also if you don't want to add a clasp, join the ends, plus one other alternative for finishing it. So I think we're going to start with the alternative actually, which is this one here. So this one doesn't have a clasp. I've made it into a lariat. Lariats are typically long, so it's hard to get in the view. So it's very long, and I've got this fringing on the end. So there you are. There's no clasp needed. Because the spiral rope is very soft and flexible, you can easily tie it into various different knots and just have it hanging like that around your neck. So very easy way to finish a spiral rope. If you don't want to do some fringe, you could just add some bigger beads on the end or anything to give it a little bit of weight to hold it in place. Works really well. So that's one idea for finishing your spiral rope. Now, the question of clasp, I think maybe not how to attach a clasp, but what clasp to attach. Okay, so here we've got a couple of examples. This one is one of the more chunkier ropes. So what I did with this was I added a clasp that was appropriate to the size of it, and this is actually a strong magnetic clasp. You do have to be careful with some magnetic clasps because they are not really strong enough to hold it, and you don't want to lose the piece where you're wearing it. So that is one idea, and to finish it, what we've done here is just added a very short loop of beads, okay? And the secret to adding a clasp is to reinforce that loop as many times as your thread will fit through the beads. One thing I also like to do when I add a clasp is finish off the spiral with some smaller loops. So the last full loop added here would leave this whole section, the core, exposed. But what I do is I add a short loop and bring it back down and step up one at the bottom and then come up to the top, and then add another loop, step up one from the bottom. So each loop is shorter and shorter, but it really adds a nice finish. I could have probably added another loop in there, but it would have been very small. So just think about the finishing of your spiral rope. The best way to just make it look really polished and professional. Okay. When you're adding this loop of beads, and just going back down the core bead, through a loop, back up, just weaving back and forth. There is no exact way to do it. Just make it sure it's very secure. What have we got next? This one here, this was not actually my design. This was a workshop that I did, but you don't always need to use a metal clasp, and this is a good idea. This is actually a bead inside here, but you could just use a plain bead and a loop. Just make sure that the sizing is right so that it doesn't come apart. But that is a nice way of bringing your clasp into part of your beadwork. Okay, once again, very well reinforced. Another one I have here, this is a spiral rope done in size 15s, and I've added a decorative bolt clasp. So these are like the old bolt clasps that were very small and fiddly to do up, but this is like bigger and better, much easier to grab hold of. But once again, we've used a loop of beads to go through that clasp, work back into your beadwork, come back up, just keep going until it is finished. This is a very beautiful spiral rope, and this is attached to a pendant that was designed by Katrina Starpins. Most fantastic beader who also has a channel. I'll leave a link to her channel in the notes. She has some fantastic tutorials as well, and this was a free tutorial, so go over to her channel, check out her website, and yeah, beautiful bead embroidery. I have used a very similar clasp but bigger again on this. This is actually a triple spiral, which we might cover another day, but because it's bigger, I've used a bigger clasp. Okay, if you just use a tiny little clasp here, it's really not going to work that well. Okay, but once again, I've used loops of beads, because if you just use the thread to go through that clasp, it will wear, not survive so much. So the beads loop really just does give it some extra strength to withstand being put on and off all that time. Okay, so those are the types of clasps that I would recommend. There's many more, I'm sure, and I could probably pull up lots of different ropes, not just spiral ropes that I've made, and show you the different clasps. But essentially, most of them are added in the same way. Now let's take a look at joining two ends of a spiral rope together so we can create an endless necklace just to pop right over our head. So here I have a spiral rope, and just out of interest, this spiral rope has 4 beads on the loop on the outside instead of 3. So you can sort of mix it up, make it your own. So I've got the two ends, okay, and I've chosen a different colour bead. When you're making it, obviously you would use the same beads that you're using, but for this I just want to show you how it fits together, and it'd be much easier to see that with a contrasting bead. So I have my needle on my thread, and it is coming out of the core bead on this side. Okay, and here we have this side, and what we're going to do is we're going to go into the opposite side, and we're going to go down 3 beads. Yeah, we want to be coming out of the bead that is one up from the last loop that we came out of. Okay, so pull that in. Okay, now because we've got 4 beads in our outside loop, I'm going to pick up 4 beads. Okay, so these would be your dark blue if you're doing it in the same color, and we are going to make sure we're working in this gap. We don't want to be working over here. We want to be as if we're adding a spiral rope, but we're just working with core beads that are already there. So we are going up 4 beads, which would be the first bead into this side. If I pull it apart, you can see that. So going down through that one, and 2 more. Okay, there we can see that loop sitting next to those beads. Pick up 4 more, and we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. I need to pull that a bit tighter actually. And come back down 3 beads. Okay, so we're gradually filling in the gap. The core beads are connected to each other, but we need to fill the gap. Pick up the loop of outer beads, count up 4 beads, 3, 4, and then back down 3. Okay, now when we look at this, we can see there is already a loop of beads coming out of here. So it is actually done. It looks quite hard to start with, but that hardly took me any time at all. I've added those loops in and it's finished. Okay, so we're always stepping up. We're moving up 1 core bead at the bottom and up 1 core bead at the top to get that nice stepped effect all the way around. Of course, weave your thread off and secure it and then cut it, and there you are. You can just pop that right over your head. Quick, easy way to finish off a nice, long, elegant spiral rope. No need to add a clasp. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.